What is up, everybody? I think it's Wednesday, December 6th. I think it might be Tuesday. Anyways, today I want to talk about something. I want to talk about UFC 300. So, at all the 100 markers, they UFC seems to like treat it like a celebration. You know, they really try to go all out. I should have looked up what they did at 100. It wasn't. I'm pretty sure 200 was like. It was going to be It was Lesnar and the dude that sued. I don't know why the name. Then it was Anderson Silva and DC. It was supposed to be DC and John Jones. Ronda and Nunes, I think. But they were like all four of the fights were pretty big ones. Like they were pretty big deal. DC and Anderson Silva, they salvaged that by getting Silva like 4 days before that John Jones DC was supposed to be it, and that should have been good. But anyways, we got 300 approaching, and the bigs, and we don't know what the fights are on it yet. There's a lot of rumors going around. One is Conor and Chandler, but the issue with Conor and Chandler is Conor is kind of from the business side of things. Conor is kind of the only fight you need on the card. You don't want to necessarily load it up with other attractions when the people that would buy for those other attractions are already going to buy for Conor, if that makes sense. Basically, it's so popular or whatever. You can just literally create a pay-per-view around Conor, and they have. But where I want to go with this today, in my last couple videos, I've been talking a couple weeks. If you talk to me personally, you kind of know what I'm talking about, where I think something's going on financially with the UFC. Taking into account how, was it Zuffa? No. Endeavor. Combined UFC and WWE. I'm wanting to say they even said the UFC was worth more. I have a really, really hard time believing that the UFC has more revenue than WWE. But, you know, I don't know. And then in addition to that, we've lost USADA. Losing USADA was a 100% around getting Conor back. Why do we want to get Conor back? Because Conor's a big pay-per-view. What I'm feeling about 300, I could be wrong about all of this, guys. These are just my hunches, and I like to talk. I'm feeling a desperation from the UFC to really put on for 300, and it's having a hard time coming together. Like yesterday, I saw something where, I don't know if this is true or rumor, that Ronda Rousey was offered $15 million to come fight Miesha Tate again. Now, I want to talk about that fight real briefly. I think most of us that are pretty fight savvy would be like, yeah, Ronda doesn't need to come back. And when we watched Ronda leave, we watched her get picked apart by Holly and then Amanda Nunes. We didn't know how good Amanda Nunes was going into that fight. We knew Holly was good. And that was one of the biggest bets I ever won because Holly was such an underdog. But what often happens when we talk about the end of Ronda or the end of a fighter, we start diminishing these fighters as fans. And we're saying Ronda's striking was so bad, and Ronda did this bad, she didn't have any head movement. She fought people and struck before the fights with Holly and Amanda. Like, she fought Miesha Tate, who was a world champion, and they went like 3 rounds, and there was punches the entire time. Like, it wasn't just straight all on the ground. And she was able to hold her own. So where we get that narrative that she can't strike at all, or it's horrible, and we're hollering at that coach, man, people can have a bad night. People can get outperformed. Ronda is definitely more of a grappler. So for her to be completely obliterated and striking by a world champion kickboxer in Holly Holm, that's not really that shocking to me. And when we saw what Amanda Nunes became after beating Ronda, again, that's not that shocking. But it seems like a reach to try to get Ronda to come back. I could be wrong. And I feel like it's some fuckery that they're still making Miesha Tate fight. Like Miesha Tate is like trying to work out of her corrupt UFC contract so that she can go do some exhibition boxing and use her celebrity status or whatever to make some money. But these freaking contracts lock them in. So Miesha Tate's had a kid, thought she was going to be retired, and now she's got to come back and fight. And she didn't even want to. Like, it's complete nonsense, and she's been open and vocal about it. She just doesn't dog the UFC. She speaks of reality, and it's not getting enough light brought to it. This is exactly why the UFC is struggling. They don't treat people right. All right, in addition to that, I should have looked up the date that 300 is. So what do we got? What do we got coming up? We got 296 coming up. There's usually 2 pay-per-views a month. So late February, probably when 300 is, early March. And we don't know the fights yet. We don't even know the main event yet. It just seems odd. It seems really odd. I don't know. It feels like they're really reaching for something. And the fights are there. I got a feeling Max is going to be in one. But I don't know what Max is doing. You know what I mean? I just don't know what they're going to do, and I really feel like they're reaching, trying to bring... Holly and Conor were kind of 2 very special, unique items, and maybe that's their goal. They're going to put Conor on it and put Ronda on it. If I said Holly a minute ago, I meant to say Ronda. Ronda and Conor were like, as Shale would say, media darlings. If they threw those 2 on it, they're probably going to sell... I don't know if it sells as good as it used to, though. Ronda's been out for so long, and Conor's not what he was. I don't care how much he talks or how much he's just not the Conor that was exciting back then. I don't know. We're going to keep it short. That's kind of my vibe today, what I was thinking about. I feel like there's a lot of desperation from the UFC to book quality fights for UFC 300. Not just quality fights, they're wanting to go, above and beyond and look good. And I think they're also feeling some pressure knowing that the whole world just watched PFL by Bellator, and they're trying to down talk it. They're saying one shitty organization bought another. I really don't like that talk from Dana. I'm not like a Nick Saban fan or anything, but if you think of Nick Saban from Alabama, one of, if not the most successful college football coach of all time, he talks about how the smaller schools need to exist so that other people can participate in the sport that he loves. If that's where it looks odd to Dana. So if you had another organization and you were the top premium, why would you not want them there? Because everyone in that organization wants to come to you. So it's a feeder thing. Now, I get how Bellator came out and tried to compete, and I guess that's what PFL is trying to compete. But if you truly feel like you're the top one, why are you even acknowledging them? I don't know. I really think Dana and them are feeling threatened. I think the financial status is on there. It's just going to be a matter of PFL getting it going. But, yeah, that's my random thoughts for today. I feel like UFC 300 is... We might be watching a lot of old people. Another one I saw for it was GSP versus Nick Diaz. What? We're going to be watching all the people we wanted to watch 10 years ago fight at 300. If these rumors I keep reading are true. But anyways, that's all I got today. We got some boxing at 9 a.m. today. And guys, I've been busy. If I've said it in a different video, try to get with me a week ahead if you want to book now, because I don't know. Tomorrow, I got to look at my calendar to see if I have anyone booked. But if not, I'm not taking anyone. I need a freaking day off. But it's always a pleasure to work with people. Always a pleasure to train. Happy to know that people like working with me. But, yeah, y'all do your thing. Have a good day. Stay dangerous.